I do know as a non-menstruator, I'll never be able to fully understand the extent of what it's like to have periods, right? But I do come from a place of empathy and a place of care where I actually try and understand this issue. So the menstrual cycle is something that's so powerful, and it's something I've always thought of it as something that we should all embrace and we should all celebrate instead of thinking of it as something dirty or something that we shouldn't talk about, right? I started when I was 15 actually, and I was meant to start up a personal project in school. I could do anything of my choice, but then I came across a documentary on Al Jazeera named India's Menstruation Man. It was the first time that I actually learned about periods and menstruation. I was born and raised in East Africa. I have an Indian background, and unfortunately in the communities that I live in, periods and menstruation is seen as a taboo and it's not really talked about. And then I watched this documentary and I'm like, this seems like an issue. Why isn't anyone talking about it? I talked to my mom then about the documentary, and she tells me when she was small and she used to live in India, there was a point where she didn't also have proper access to products. When she used to use like old cloth and blankets. My mom went to this when she was small. There's a whole documentary about this. Why is no one talking about this? Let me do my research and see, learn more, right? I go online and I find out that over 500 million menstruators around the world don't have access. That's an average of around 1 in 10 menstruators, and that's honestly such a huge number. I find out that these menstruators use old rags, cloth, leaves, blankets, some of the most unsanitary material when they get their period. In some parts of the world, they have to be locked up in rooms, they're sent to huts, they bleed free. There's been cases where people have taken their own lives because of period shaming. In some parts of the world, people treat sexual activity in order to get access to pads. And I was like, wow, this is it's such a huge issue and it's connected to so many different things. I realized that there's this whole, again, idea of period poverty and how because they don't have access, a lot of the menstruators don't go to school or don't carry out their daily activities. And in reality, then because they don't go to school, they don't get a job, then this whole issue passes on from generation to generation, right? And I was like, I need to do something about this. So I decided to go online and look at different solutions, came across reusable sanitary pads, and then I sort of used all of the designs and created my own prototype, created a reusable menstrual package that will last for 6 months. I think there's definitely a lot of ways to sort of break this stigma. I think starting point is it's as simple as honestly just talking about it, referring to periods as periods and not as something else. Like when you're going to the washroom and you're opening your pack of pads or tampons, don't be shy when that sound of the wrapper is something you don't want anyone else in the bathroom to hear. I feel like it's the little small things that we can do to sort of break this stigma. It's very simple, I feel like, and it goes back to some of the groundwork and how we act in our day-to-day lives. And a lot of cultures, there's a huge cultural influence as well in a lot of cultures and religions. A lot of menstruators can't pray during their period. They can't go to their prayer rooms during their period. There's a lot of myths and a lot of sort of beliefs. Some being, let's say, you can't cook when you're on your period or you can't fast during your period. There's so many different cultural aspects that we need to consider when we're sort of trying to sort of break this stigma. But again, if we come from a place of trying to talk about it, trying to educate, trying to ask some of these hard questions, I think a lot of work can be done. And then I think right now the power of social media is crazy, and we have made a lot of progress in terms of trying to talk about some of these things online, but there's still more work to be done. So I'm definitely using our different social media platforms to spread awareness, to talk about this, to embrace it, for what it is. I think the media in general, mass media plays such a big role. There's this whole conversation in our space about how periods are not fully represented in movies or in different media platforms and advertisements. A lot of period ads don't even use the color red for period blood. You'll see them using a green or a blue, and it's those small things that sort of change our mindset. So fully representing periods for what they are, that them being something as beautiful and something as something that we should all embrace and be proud of, something that's completely natural, I think will go such a long way. And yeah, I think there's this whole conversation about, even in movies, Why is it okay for them to show blood that's associated with killing and murder, but not okay for them to show the most, I guess, natural blood in your body, and that's periods and menstruation, right? So there's a lot of little small things in different areas that I feel like can be worked upon, but we are getting there. I'm optimistic. I'm sure 20, 30 years ago, a non-menstruator and menstruator wouldn't even be okay having this conversation that we're having right now, right? So we have made progress, and I feel like, yeah, just I believe I see change to be something that's sort of small steps towards action and bringing change, right? Doesn't have to be something major. I feel like conversations like this is a huge step, and we are sort of working towards it.